People were more suspect, I think, because Ariana Grande was a pop star and people don't really remember that she started off on Broadway or in acting, because I remember she was in 13 the musical. Somebody's got to remember. Somebody's got to be the keeper of these secrets, and it will be me. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carly, and today we are talking about the drama surrounding the production of Wicked, the musical. It is coming out, I feel like when this video goes live, this week, if not, the beginning of next week. I don't know when this is exactly coming out, but it's coming out soon, and it has truly felt like, for some of us girlies, it's a lifetime in the making. A Wicked movie feels like it has been in the talks since 2008, and now it's coming out in 2024. Wild to think about. And I just want to talk today about, there's a couple of different moments that throughout either the production of Wicked, the filming of Wicked, or the press tour kind of made me go, oh, and that's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm defining when I say oh, I want to talk about the drama that happened with Wicked. It's not hardcore drama all the time. It's moments that made me go, oh, does that make sense? It feels ineffable, but I feel like you get me. Why don't we just get into it? But before we get into the meat of the Wicked drama, I just wanted to take a moment and thank this week's sponsor, Trainwell. Trainwell is the ultimate one-on-one remote personal training service. And what I like about it is that it really emphasizes accountability, because you're not just working out on your own, even though you are on your own. You are working with a trainer, which I find makes it a lot easier to actually reach my goals. Trainwell has expert personalization, which allows you and your trainer to build a plan that helps you reach whatever your specific fitness goals are. Whatever it is personalized for you. Fun fact about me, I have pretty bad health anxiety, and it is really, really exacerbated at the gym. I've gotten really bad flus from working out at the gym because everybody is breathing a lot and touching a lot of the things. It has made it very hard for me to stay consistent in actually going to the gym because I am so scared of getting sick. Working with my trainer Jill on Trainwell allows me to have a gym personal trainer level exercise from the comfort of my home. And my schedule is it's really ever changing. I can't stick to a regimented routine because week to week, my work hours change entirely. So it's hard for me to keep a consistent workout appointment, which is why Trainwell's flexibility is amazing. When you start out on Trainwell, you take a quiz that pairs you with the perfect trainer. There's no risk. Clients can switch trainers anytime they want if you don't think that you and your trainer are the perfect match. We hopped on a call, chatted about food and being short, and she listened to my concerns, my exercise history, the goals I wanted to reach. I want to build strength. So she heard my concerns and built an entire regimen around me that I could do whenever I wanted at home. It was amazing. So if you want to get started on your personal fitness journey with Trainwell, take the quiz to find your personal trainer and get 14 days of free training using the link in my description. Again, take the quiz below and get matched with your personal trainer and get 14 days of free training when you use the link in my description. Thank you so much to Trainwell for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. I'm losing my voice. So bear with me. A little bit of background if you aren't theater kid brain rotted to the extent that I am. First of all, jealous of you. Wicked is a musical, and it is about Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West. She basically goes to university to be with her younger sister Nessa and take care of her. While she is there, she's an outcast, and she meets Glinda, who's this very popular girl, and it's about their relationship together, without spoiling it. Elphaba, you might know from at the end of Defying Gravity going, oh, and also being green. I would say her major credit is being green. That's when you think Elphaba, you think, oh, green. You think green, and it's good. It's good to have a brand. You know what I mean? She's very success coded. I'm very jealous of her. So part of the reason that I think Wicked is so popular is because there are two women lead roles. there's Elphaba and Glinda. And if you're like a theater girly, you're like, are you an Elphaba or are you a Glinda? I'm neither because I'm untalented. I can't sing a lick, and that's my cross to bear. But, somebody has to be untalented, so might as well be me because I do it with grace and I do it with dignity, like a swan that's dying. But Glinda, her songs are very like funny, not all the time, but there's like humor elements. Her voice is very light, very airy, kind of like floaty, whereas Elphaba's songs are very, very powerful with more of a darker element, Elphaba is like green, black, and Glinda's like pink, That's the vibe you're getting. I need to explain that ahead of time because it's gonna come back in, but I just need you to hold those two things in tension. And I think the reason that we've also been hearing a lot about the Wicked movie, two things. First of all, this press tour has been going on seemingly for 7 months. It's just in the news all the time. We've been hearing about this Wicked movie since some of us were in utero, like it's been a moment, and that's fine, but it has been a moment. We must admit this. And also, people love Wicked. Like, people love Wicked. Ben Platt's father, the producer of Wicked, has kind of been teasing the concept of a Wicked movie for a while, but it's only been in talks. So the fact that we're actually getting a Wicked movie in our lifetime, it's got the theater girlies a buzz. They're in a tizzy, and people feel very strongly about the ways in which these characters should be presented. And I think people feel very protective over the franchise. So that being said, why don't I just walk you through a couple of moments over the course of the Wicked filming, the production, pre-production, production, post-production, all of that fun stuff. So you really feel like you're caught up, you're up to date on what the hell is going on with Wicked, right? So let's begin. The first section, I want to talk basically entirely about casting, because there were several moments of kind of like, contention. And a lot of this has to do with Ariana Grande's casting as Glinda. The auditions for Wicked were intense. By all accounts, from different podcasts that I've listened to with actors and even interviews with actors who didn't get the role but were up for the roles, it was like a months-long, very, very intense process where you would come in, sing like 5 songs, do some scenes, and then you'd go away. It's already really, really emotionally taxing because these roles mean so much to people, and they're a lot of people's dream roles. And then like 2 weeks later, they'd call you back in again and you do it again. Like, it was a months-long process, but people did it because it was so many people's like dream roles, Ariana Grande included. She has been quoted recently saying that like when she became aware of the Wicked movie actually happening, she was on her Sweetener tour for like Sweetener, which is one of her most successful albums to this date. It has like, it's like Thank You Next, 7 Rings, like that era, like pop star, dating Pete Davidson, famous era. And she said to her team, like, if this is really happening, like if Wicked auditions are happening right now, I will call off the tour. Like, I need to get back. I need to work with a voice coach. I need to work with an acting coach. Obviously, it didn't happen at that moment. She did complete the tour, but she was basically, seemingly ready to do whatever it takes to get the role. I'm sure that other people felt that way as well. But when she was announced as Glinda, a lot of people had their suspicions, let's say. I'm not in this camp. I think especially since doing research and seeing how hard she worked for this and also seeing the trailer, I think that she'll be very, very good in the role. I'm excited to see. I have, let's say it, pre-ordered my tickets to the Wicked movie. I will be there. I will be in the theater, so ready. It's terrifying to everyone involved. Now, a lot of people have kind of felt this suspicion because some people thought that Ariana was actually more suited to the role of Elphaba and not Glinda. As I said before, Elphaba's songs are powerhouse songs, and Ariana Grande is known for her incredible voice. And also, it might be hard to remember now because through the press tour and seemingly like the creation of this character of Glinda, Ariana Grande has gone like full Austin Butler in Elvis, full Joker moment. Like she's kind of become Glinda where her voice is quite high now. But at the time, her voice was quite low. I'm going to play a clip in a couple of seconds where she actually says that her dream role is Elphaba, not Glinda. And I couldn't believe how low her voice was.
I would do anything to play Elfie. I don't really have like many dream roles. I already got to play Penny. not cross that one off the list. Elphaba and Audrey in Little Shop. Those are my two dream roles.
So people weren't really associating her with this like high-pitched kind of like airy voice that people ascribe often to the character of Glinda. So a lot of people were like, she's an Elphaba. They only cast her as Glinda because it's a stunt cast. It's, you know, the cognitive dissonance there is one thing, but that's what people were saying. People also pointed to during the Wicked 15th anniversary concert, she sang The Wizard and I, decked out in green, and The Wizard and I is an Elphaba song, and people were kind of assuming, oh, this is like a pre-audition kind of moment. Like, the producers are there, obviously. This is like a pre-audition moment where she can show her capacity to play Elphaba. So that was maybe the first thing that people were kind of saying online once the casting was announced. I don't really feel like this holds a lot of merit now. Cynthia Erivo is a powerhouse. We also don't really know who else auditioned for Elphaba. There's a bit more information on the Glinda casting process, which we're about to get into. And I wonder if part of the reason we don't know as much about Elphaba is because, like, Cynthia Erivo, at the time she was cast, I don't even think she was an Academy Award nominee at the time. I think when she was cast, she was just like a Tony winner. Not like just, but you know what I mean? I think people respected that more because they felt like Cynthia Erivo was like a theater person being cast in the movie, and that's what they wanted, right? Also, Cynthia Erivo could sing anyone's ass off. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna question her casting in the movie. But people were more suspect, I think, because Ariana Grande was a pop star and people don't really remember that she started off on Broadway or in acting, because I remember she was in 13 the musical. Somebody's got to remember, somebody's got to be the keeper of these secrets, and it will be me. But people kind of saw her as like this pop star and weren't so sure about it, okay? Now let's talk about the audition process for Glinda and the other girls that auditioned for Glinda. There's a bit of information about this now. Again, not a lot about Elphaba. All we know is that Lea Michele assumedly auditioned for Elphaba. This is what's a titter on the Broadway fan forums. I don't know if this is actually true. The only allusion I can find to Lea saying this is her saying on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen that she would love to play Elphaba in the movie.
I'm wondering, have you ever been in talks about auditioning to play Elphaba in the upcoming Wicked movie? I think you would be
You would be so good.
There was a gasp in the audience. And
Yes, there was. Like, I have a reactive audience.
I mean, that would be incredible. I don't think that they've gotten to the point of talking to people about it yet. If they have, they haven't called me.
But you'd be into
but
it, right?
I would, yes. I'm like backstage
That would-
painting myself green, just waiting for
Yes, good.
Just a point of interest, when she was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen talking about wanting to play Elphaba, her co-guest is Liam Payne, and doing research for this was like, it was just like very like, I don't know, it spooked me. It was a weird coincidence. Anyways, we have a lot of information. I don't know where this came from, but of the casting for Glinda. It is generally accepted that the top 3 choices for Glinda were Ariana Grande, Amanda Seyfried, and Dove Cameron. Dove Cameron on Liv and Maddie played a character that was very like Glinda coded, very like high pitched and kind of more funny and airhead-y, but still intelligent. She also was in Hairspray Live playing Amber Von Tussle. Her mom, Mrs. Von Tussle, was played by Kristen Chenoweth, who was the original Glinda on Broadway. And when people asked Kristen Chenoweth, like, who do you want to play Glinda in the movie because you're the original Glinda, she would often say Dove Cameron. So Dove Cameron had the original Glinda, Kristen Chenoweth, check stamp of approval. So people really, really wanted Dove to be Glinda. Like, she was always one of the first people mentioned when people said, who do you want to play Glinda on these forums, right? Also in Hairspray Live was Ariana Grande playing Miss Penny Pinkleton herself. And in a lot of these interviews where people would ask Kristen Chenoweth, who do you want to play Elphaba and Glinda, she would say, I want Dove Cameron to play Glinda and I want Ariana Grande to play Elphaba, further cementing that Ariana Grande cannot run away from the you should be playing Elphaba allegations. She simply can't escape from them. Amanda Seyfried was another huge contender. She's talked in a lot of interviews about basically campaigning to be in this movie consistently for several years. She was in Mamma Mia and Les Mis, so she already has that like movie musical juice behind her. And she's like a respected actress. She was auditioning while she was filming The Dropout, which was the mini series where she played Elizabeth Holmes, where she also did this like very transformative performance where she really tried to like inhabit the body of Elizabeth Holmes. And like I said before, the audition process for Wicked was incredibly intense, like months long, and these really, really crazy audition sessions. So she would like shoot The Dropout all day and then go home and like record tapes and jump on calls and do these auditions. Like crazy, nuts. In like a recent interview, she said, "I have dreams that I'm still auditioning for Wicked. Last summer while I was playing Elizabeth on The Dropout, on the weekends, I was auditioning in person to play Glinda in the movie version of Wicked because I wanted it that much. I was like, you know what? I have to play the last scene of The Dropout on Tuesday. I'll give my Sunday to you. I literally bent over backwards while playing the hardest role of my life, but I think it also taught me how far I've come as a singer, which I really wanted to prove because ever since Les Mis, I was like, I need to be better. I need to do better." She had said that she might be too old by the time they make it, or she might be the wrong person, but she wants to be a good candidate. Like this girl was campaigning, which is a crazy way of saying that. She was campaigning. We also know Dove has confirmed that she auditioned. She said, "I definitely went out for it. I know that for everybody who did go out for it, it was a very long process. It was one of the longer processes I've been a part of. I don't think everyone wants me to be Glinda. I mean, it's like the role of a lifetime. I've been dreaming of it since I was like 7. I mean, I should be so lucky to be considered." Eventually, Ariana Grande is announced to be Glinda. When she gets announced as Glinda, all hell kind of breaks loose. Not really, but like if you're chronically online and in the right forums, then yes, absolutely. There are two kind of major pieces of drama that come out of this that we're going to talk about. The first being Taylor Louderman. Taylor Louderman, if you know that like TikTok musical song that's like straight hair, straight A, straight hair, Little Miss Perfect. You probably do know it if you were on a certain side of TikTok in 2020. But she sings that. She's a Broadway performer. She played Regina George in the original company on Broadway for Mean Girls the musical. She's very, very talented. When Ariana and Cynthia were announced as Elphaba and Glinda, she took to her Instagram story. And here's what I think about this. I think it's funny, and I also feel her. Where first she posts the Deadline article that just says, and comments, "Why did I even audition or think I had a chance?" Then she posts a picture of her teary saying, "This business, you can't care too much about any role you're auditioning for, or you could get hurt and won't come back, but you have to care enough to give your all. I cared too much this time. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this." Girlie got dragged through the mud for this by Ariana Grande stans, and I don't think that's fair. I think, first of all, emotionally speaking, being an actor is incredibly hard, and I think this process in particular was just emotionally draining. You have so many people giving months and months of their life because they want to play this character that they felt connected to since they were a child so bad. Like, once somebody is announced, the bottom is gonna drop out, right? And I also think, like, she's not saying that Ariana Grande doesn't deserve it. If anything, she's being like, why did I even audition if these are the people that get cast? Which I think, if you are somebody who auditions for stuff, is an incredibly universal experience where you go through rounds of auditions and then a famous person gets cast and you're like, then why did you even see me? Like, obviously you're gonna cast them. They're famous and they're talented. So I feel her. I don't think it's wrong to feel this upset. I think it should be on the close friends story. Like, this is something you send to the group chat, girly. But I also, I feel her. I think this would be so heartbreaking if you thought that you actually had a chance to play like your dream role, and then pop star, superstar Ariana Grande gets it. And you're like, well, of course. Well, of course. Like, she's not being mean. She's being realistic, being like, girl, why did you audition me? If you're gonna give it to her, obviously just give it to her. Another kind of piece of drama that came out of this actually came out recently. I think it came out on the 6th of November this year. But Cynthia Erivo, in an interview, was talking about the moments when she learned that Ariana was cast opposite to her in Wicked, and she is quoted saying, "Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Thank goodness, because it was not the two ladies that I was auditioning with." Girl, don't kick them while they're down. Taylor Louderman is crying on Maine. Let those girls live. They did not book. That is pain enough. You don't need to insult them in Buzzing Pop, whatever that Twitter account is. I'm just like, girl, let them live. They're down. Don't kick them, they're down. This is so messy. To me, I'm like, girl, it's one thing if it's somebody who is known for being very, very unprofessional, because then you can almost ascribe this comment to being like the actual audition process was not pleasant because maybe this person was very toxic. But like, we can assume she's maybe talking about Dove Cameron and Amanda Seyfried, and it's like, girl, they didn't book. You don't need to insult them further. Like, they've been humbled. They don't need more. Again, I think this is another instance of like, just tell your friends. This is something you can say over like a glass of wine when you're in like a bitchy little mood. We all have, bitchy little moods. They're chronic, they're a part of life, we have to accept this. But the key is to make sure that those bitchy little moods are directed at your friend when you just want to say something mean and be like, can I be a bitch just for a second? And then they're like, yes. And then you're like, thank God Ariana Grande was cast as Glinda, because it was not the other two girls I was auditioning. Do not say it to a journalist, Cynthia. You don't need this attention. Stay in your own lane. Get the voice of an angel, girl. The next section I want to talk about is, of course, the SpongeBob drama. I go more in depth on this in my Ariana Grande video from like forever ago. But basically, Ariana Grande was married to Dalton Gomez, her husband, who is like an LA real estate agent. And Ethan Slater, who plays Bach in the Wicked movie, was married with a child. When they met on set, different accounts say different things. Some people say that they were both separated from their spouses and then got together. Other people say that it was an affair. We weren't there. We'll never know. All we can know is that it is messy. I'll read you through some of the timeline, and this is all alleged, like, again, we're not there. We don't know. I will say two things that I think are interesting about this before I do that, though. First of all, people call Ethan Slater SpongeBob because he played SpongeBob in SpongeBob the Musical on Broadway, and you can't unsee that. He is playing Bach in Wicked, which is not even a hot role, let's say it. Bach is like kind of like a nerdy guy who wants to date Glinda, but she's interested in Fiyero, who's played by Jonathan Bailey. Casting decision of the century, thank you. So it's not even like Fiyero, which is a hot role. He's Bach. But on the other hand, I really do feel like being on this set was like theater kids summer camp. Like, they were all like away from like friends and family, singing and dancing all day. And if there's one thing theater kids love to do, it's like, if you're playing Glinda, you have a crush on Bach, that is simply just, that's the circle of life. That's the order of the jungle. So I do find it interesting that like you can be an adult woman and you have a crush on an adult man who has like a wife and a baby, and like maybe you should be like more bound by like societal rules, but at your core everybody's just like theater kids who want to like stage kiss, but for real. Anyways, December 7th, 2022, Wicked starts filming in London. January 2023, Dalton and Ariana allegedly split in private. They are separated, okay? In April, Ethan's wife discovers the affair but wants to move past it. On May 14th, Ethan wishes his wife Lily a happy Mother's Day. On May 15th, Ariana celebrates her and Dalton's 2-year anniversary on Instagram. So kind of the idea here is like around like February and April, Ethan and Ariana are together. Ariana is separated from her husband at the time. Ethan's wife finds out, wants to move past it, but like they're posting still on social media, kind of keeping it under wraps, which is how the timeline gets muddled. On June 27th, they're spotted at Soho House after her birthday. July 16th, Ariana shows up at Wimbledon without a ring. This is like the famous kind of picture. Andrew Garfield is like in the corner for some reason. Her and Jonathan Bailey are watching Wimbledon in like their tennis white. She doesn't have her wedding ring on anymore. The next day, TMZ reports that they are divorcing. They say that Dalton is dating and Ariana is busy with her work. Dalton later says that he is a Christian and wants to work on the marriage. Cool. July 20th, TMZ reports that Ariana and Ethan are dating, and they started dating after they both were officially single. 2 days after this happens, Lily gives an interview saying that she's devastated and blindsided by this news. And then on July 25th, there are reports that Ethan told his wife just days before they went public. Messy, 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 messy. They're still together now. I would love to be in the room of the Wicked publicity department, like figuring out how to navigate this while publicity, because it feels like he is like not included in the publicity at all. They're like, we are excluding you from this narrative. It is all about Cynthia and Ariana. Like, he really isn't giving a lot of interviews, and I wonder if part of that is because they like don't want to engage with this narrative, even though it is like good publicity for the movie. Okay, the next drama I want to talk about is the fan art drama. This and the one I want to talk about afterwards are like what I believe to be good fun drama, like the dissolving of two marriages and a complicated relationship, and it's like drama, but it's like a bummer, you know? And I find it hard to have any real take on it because I can have a take on it like thematically, like technically, but in a greater way, like these are people's lives and I think lives are complicated. Do I think all the choices are choices I would make? No, but like life is tough and you're not gonna make the right choice all the time. You're always a villain in someone's story. I just feel for like everyone involved, it just sucks. All that's to say, it's not fun. The fan art drama, fun. The wicked dolls, fun. So let's unpack those instead. So, you know, once the movie is coming out, they release the poster for the movie. The movie poster is in the style of the classic kind of cartoon poster for the musical. The musical poster is like iconic. People know it, they love it. And although the movie poster is in the style of the musical poster, it's like a little off, which somehow makes it worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at them side by side. Ariana Grande's hand is like weirdly like low. And in the cartoon musical poster, the brim of Elphaba's hat covers her eyes and she's smirking. Whereas in this one, Cynthia Erivo is looking down the barrel of the camera. It's very good. Like eyes connect, they connected to the soul, mama. It's a good poster. I get why. But I can also understand like if you've been looking at one version of the poster, it's like Uncanny Valley almost, where it's like, it's so close, but not quite. Also, Ariana Grande's hand looks like a Barbie hand in this. It's like Barbie hand. So a Wicked fan account used like Photoshop to change the poster to look exactly like the original poster. And they just posted it for good fun. It's fan art. And this really upset Cynthia. She took to her Instagram story to post, I've got to read this word for word because it is a level of unhinged I aspire to be. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen. Equal to that awful AI of us fighting. Equal to people posing the question, is your green? None of this is funny. None of this is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an homage, not an invitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is deeply hurtful. This did inspire me and my friends to have a photo shoot on the street corner outside of a bar in the style of the poster. So I'll give you those. She then posts, let me put this right here to remind you and cleanse your palate, the original poster. I feel like she misunderstood what happened. I can understand feeling strongly about being seen, about your face being seen, and about the strength of your character being conveyed through your eyes. Like, I'm there for that. But it is a fan edit. I would get it if it was the real poster. Like, if the real poster got changed to hide your eyes. Like, I get that. But this is just a fan having fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is one thing if you're being, like, disrespected on a deep level. But this is just a girly, she's opening Canva. You know what I mean? I feel like she misunderstood what it was because it's such a disproportionate reaction, which is why it's funny. When in actuality, like, I wonder if like the increased publicity of being a black woman in the public eye, like, I just wonder if the publicity like was wearing on her. Like, you know, when like you have a really, really bad day and then one person annoys you and you like snap and you react disproportionately. That's kind of what this reads like to me. Because when she says it's more offensive than people asking her, is her green? Like, it's not. That question is way worse. You have to blank out the swear in that. This is a fan edit. I just feel like she should not be online. She's incredibly talented. I think she has a great career ahead of her. She's already has a great career. Like, nothing but love and light to Cynthia Erivo. I just, like, you know when you're like, I think this person might be hurting. Like, this might be triggering to her because of the intense stress she's under. But out of context, this screenshot is so funny. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen. Also, the line, because without words we communicate with our eyes, is so funny. But like, isn't that like good fun as drama? Like, I just think maybe her brain got melted because of the stress. Like, I am trying to give her the benefit of the doubt of like, people oftentimes maybe they react disproportionately because like they're under a lot of stress and they seemingly have been on a PR run for this movie for like 700 years. And I wonder if like the misogyny and racism maybe wore down on her and then she saw this Wicked fan poster and snapped because the reaction is disproportionate. The fan issued a statement saying, I will say that Cynthia is valid in having her feelings on the matter. I'm also valid in wanting to keep my version of the poster up as I truly meant no harm with it and just made it as a way to show love for the original. Both can be true. I love this fan for not being bullied by this in any way, being like, no, I'm going to keep it up. I actually think I'll keep the edit up. It's actually doing numbers because it is heavily embroiled in scandal. So I think I'm gonna keep it up. Obsessed with that. And finally, let's talk about the Wicked dolls. This is just, again, good fun. For the release of the movie, Mattel made like Wicked Barbie dolls. I don't know if they're like canonic. I don't know what's going on in the Barbie universe. Nothing but love and light to my friends Barbie and Ken. I don't know if they're like called Barbie dolls, but they're you know what I mean? They're Barbie dolls. On the back, you know, usually they'll have like information like, oh, where to find more information about Wicked. Go to our Facebook page. And they list www.wicked.com. The website for the movie is www.wickedmovie.com. Wicked.com is just a porn website. It's just porn. So children are buying Wicked dolls with a link to porn on the back. This is a nightmare. Like, it's, first of all, objectively hilarious. I want to say a victimless crime, although maybe children saw some scarring images, so not entirely victimless, but close. But I just feel so bad because you know that at every line of approval for the graphic design of this box, somebody else thought someone else was gonna spell check or like check for typos or mistakes, and then nobody did. And then they went to print, and now children are buying their Elphaba doll, cracking out their computer or their iPod Touch, typing in wicked.com, and being scarred for life. I love this. So that's what's the main, I feel like the main points if you want to be caught up on what's happening on the Wicked movie. Sorry if this video feels disjointed. Like, my brain is a bit melted, but I just wanted to talk about Wicked because I'm so excited to see it. If you are, or you know other Wicked drama, let me know in the comments because I would absolutely love to hear. I'm knee deep in my obsession with this movie. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to Trainwell for sponsoring this video. Again, take the quiz below and get matched with your personal trainer and get 14 days of free training when you use the link in my description. I'll see you soon. Bye.